Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's session. Today, the topic is emotional, mental, physical abuse of women. Everywhere women feel endangered, feel threatened. They don't feel safe in the physical place. If you watch the news, there is so much going on. There's so much violence happening against girls, against women. And so then it's natural that many women, they just don't feel safe being around men, don't feel safe in their marriages, don't feel safe just being around their partners because of all the different things that happen to them in their life, be it emotional abuse, be it gaslighting, be it lying, be it threatening, be it just feeling like there's something about the energy of the other person that just triggers your survival instinct somehow. So if this is something that you're experiencing, be it conscious, subconscious, because this is also something we may have brought in from past lives, that's what we're going to be working on today. As always, I'm going to be sharing my slides. You can make yourself as comfortable as you need to. And close your eyes, put your awareness at the center of your heart. There is nothing you need to do. There is nowhere you need to go. Just allow yourself to be fully present in the here and the now. Put your awareness somewhere 300 feet above your crown. Tap into the love and light 300 feet above your crown. Allow this love and light to begin coming down on your crown, on your forehead, on your ajna, on your throat, on your heart. Everywhere there is that fear in your nervous system, everywhere there is that survival fear in your physical body, clear and transmuted across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Everywhere your emotional body is triggered, bring up all the triggers, everything that's triggering you, everything that makes you feel afraid around men. Like ever since I was assaulted 6 years ago in Brazil, I'm definitely much more aware and much more triggered in certain circumstances where in the past I would have not paid attention to it, but now I do. So this energy is coming down to your solar plexus, letting go of anybody and everybody who's no longer part of your divine plan. This energy is coming down on your navel, on your pelvis area, your legs, your knees, soles of your feet. This energy is going all the way down, down, down to the center of Mother Earth, tapping into the love and light at the center of Mother Earth. Allow this love and light to feel, allow yourself to feel this love and light. Feel safe, feel protected, feel cared for by this energy. Allow this energy to begin coming up through your feet, your body, coming into your heart, filling up your heart with love and light. A sphere of love and light is beginning to form itself at the center of your heart. It's becoming as big as your house, as big as your town. As big as this planet. May some of your karma be used to scan the entire universe for all the beings that have threatened you in any way. What would it take for you to feel absolutely safe on this planet? What would it take for you to feel absolutely safe in the physical body? Everything that's holding you back, everything that's interfering. Delete, uncreate this story, delete, uncreate this story across all time, dimension, space, and reality. May some of your karma be used, just create all of this to neutralize all the fears in your energetic field, to put a program. That's one of the reasons why I also donate money. I give money to the poor wherever I travel, because then I decree. I highly advise you bring it into your practice, daily practice, if you must. You can say, may some of my good karma be used to protect me from any harms and dangers at all times, be it emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. Decree your good karma. I've been doing that for years, especially after I got assaulted. Well, not especially. I started doing it after I got assaulted. Before that, I wasn't doing it. So what would it take for creative all that is to assign beings to protect you from any harms and dangers? everything that's standing on the way, everything that's holding you back, everywhere you are not allowing to be protected. By creating all of this, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story. What would it take for you to give up the idea that being unsafe in this physical plane is normal? Because for many of you, you feel it's normal. There is no other option but to be unsafe here. Delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story. Everywhere you believe that men can do whatever the hell they want with women, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story. Everywhere you believe men have power over women, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story. Some of you have become abused, just create a folder this. You put a delete, uncreate the story program for the next 24 hours, so as long as it's needed, and keep on neutralizing all these beliefs that men have power over women. Everywhere you are attracting men that have ulterior motives, delete, uncreate the story. What would it take for you to attract men into your life that are so good, so high vibrational, have strong set of values, that are uplifting rather than threatening to women? What would it take for you to attract men like that into your energetic field? What kind of energies, what kind of vibration, what kind of frequency do you need to bring in into your energetic field to vibrate with this kind of man? Everything that's standing on the way, delete, uncreate the story. Everything that's preventing you, delete, uncreate the story. Everything that's not allowing you, delete, uncreate the story. Everywhere you believe you're only good enough for bad men, delete, uncreate the story. Some of you with karma abuse, just create a folder to put the delete, uncreate the story, detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete program. Personal time, dimension, space, and reality for the next 24 hours, so as long as it's needed, to keep on neutralizing all these beliefs that you are only good enough for bad men. That's a big one. What would it take for you to be good enough for a good man? For good souls, advanced souls, what would it take? Everywhere you believe you're not good enough, everywhere you believe you're not worthy enough, what would it take for you to believe that you are more than good enough for any man on this planet? What would it take? What would it take for you to give up the idea that there are men that are too good for you on this planet? Detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Everywhere you're still holding on to traumas from all the times when you were threatened, endangered, abused, hurt by men. What would it take for you to be completely trauma-free? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's not allowing you, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion, across all time, dimension, space, and reality, across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Everywhere you believe the bad men are after you, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story. Everywhere you're not allowing yourself to be so aware that you can perceive, sense the men that are going to turn into bad men in your life. Everywhere you're not allowing yourself to be psychic enough, delete, uncreate the story. Everywhere you're not allowing yourself to be aware enough, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're holding yourself back, pushing your intuition down, delete, uncreate the story. Everywhere you believe that this man can teach you something, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you are learning inner strength by being threatened by men, delete, uncreate the story. With some of you with karma abuse, to neutralize all these decisions and choices, what would it take for you to learn inner strength by surrounding yourself with men that are uplifting, empowering, good to you, treat you right? What would it take for you to believe in your own inner strength by being uplifted by a strong man? Delete everything that's standing on the way, delete, uncreate the story, delete, uncreate the story. Put the detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete program for the next 24 hours, so as long as it's needed. What would it take for you to feel comfortable around men, around male bodies? Everywhere you're afraid and triggered by the proximity of strong male bodies. Delete, uncreate this story, delete, uncreate this story, delete, uncreate this story. Everywhere you're threatened by men with muscles, delete, uncreate this story. Everywhere you're threatened by bossy man, pushy man, delete, uncreate this story. Delete, uncreate this story, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you cannot hold ground with man, delete, uncreate this story, delete, uncreate this story. Delete, uncreate this story across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Everywhere you allow yourself to be overrun by man, overpowered by man. Everywhere you're afraid of man being angry. What would it take for you to release, let go of all the fears that if you make a man angry with you, they will hurt you? Delete, uncreate this story, delete, uncreate this story. What would it take for you to give up all the traumas, all the stories, all the past experiences? Absorb the teachings, the lessons, let go of suffering, let go of pain, let go of trauma. What would it take for you to attract men that let you be the way you are and accept when you're saying no to something? Delete, uncreate this story, delete, uncreate this story. What would it take? What would it take? What would it take? What would it take for you to feel at peace, surrounded by men? What would it take for you to be so aware that you would know right away what kind of man to stay away from? What would it take for you to develop, upgrade your psychic abilities, your intuition, your perceptive abilities? What would it take for you to know the truth, see the truth, feel the truth, hear the truth about a man? And what would it take for you to listen to your wisdom and stay away from the man that can turn toxic, that can turn out to be destructive in your life? What would it take for you to start cleaning up the man you invite into your life? Of course, you don't want to be cleaning up everybody on the street, but if you invite a man into your life, you start a relationship, then you might want to clean them up. So what would it take for you to energetically clean up the man that you invite into your energetic field? Because often that's where relationships struggle, because we are not an energetic match to each other. So if you really like someone and you really want to give a shot to that person, give a chance to this person, then you got to do that. It's part of your work to clean them up, especially if you know the tools, techniques, but he doesn't. There are lots of things you can play around them. They don't even need to know. The thing is this again, there is this debate whether you can heal somebody without their permission. So if it's not permissible, you will not be able to heal anybody. But if it's permissible, then something is going to happen. That's one thing. And second thing is, if somebody has the ability to affect you, your life, rain on your parade, affect you emotionally, then you totally have the right to clean them up, right? If somebody, I had so many people in the last couple of years that start fights with me, and then we court, right? Hate binds and love binds. So when somebody starts an argument with me, I see it as a call for help, because their soul knows, like, if anybody messes with me, I'm going to clean them up. I'm going to clean them up because I'm never going to allow anybody to affect me in any way with their negativity. So I meet strangers and they get triggered by my energy sometimes. And then I clean them up because I see it as a call for help, because they know if they mess with me, I'm going to do that. So that's why I'm not angry or offended in any way when people start arguments with me, because I see it this way. So for you, the same. If somebody comes into your world and you really want to give that person a chance, think about what replays, what things you have up your sleeve that you can play around them, what mantras, what cleaning sessions. So everything that's holding you back, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere you believe it's not allowed, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere you believe it's cheating, delete, destroy, uncreate. Everywhere you're afraid that would be angry with you if you clean them up, delete, destroy, uncreate. What would it take for you to attract a man that is already doing a lot of energy work on him and knows how to heal himself? What would it take? for you to attract a man like that who is spiritually awakened, developed, and developing? Delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe you can't attract a man that is more spiritually developed than you, delete the story, uncreate. We had it a couple of sessions ago when I was clearing up a lot this belief that we only are good enough for men that are spiritually our inferior. There might be 50 lifetimes behind us, and we are trying to be their teacher. What would it take for you to attract a man that is more advanced than you? Delete the story, uncreate. Delete the story, uncreate. Delete the story, uncreate. I dated once somebody for a long time, and he was definitely spiritually more advanced than I. And he taught me a lot. I changed a lot as a human being. It was the best relationship I had. So what would it take for you to attract somebody who is more spiritually awake, more spiritually developed, more spiritually aware than you? What kind of energy, what kind of vibration, what kind of frequency would you need to bring in into your energetic field, your body, your energetic makeup to attract a person like that into your life? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's holding you back, delete the story, uncreate. Where are you looking always for, like what you call them, social cases, problematic cases? Where are you trying to be the good girl who attracts the bad guy? Delete the story, uncreate. Where are you trying to be the one who changes the guy, and somehow you teach them to love, you teach them him XYZ, whatever it is you believe you gotta teach them? What would it take for you to give up that idea to be any man's teacher? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to attract a man that is your energetic match? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to be always only in places that are safe for you? What would it take for you to be so aware to know when not to go or when to go somewhere? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take? What would it take for you to be aware that something would happen? Like, for instance, when I got assaulted in Brazil, I knew exactly that I was gonna be assaulted before I went there, and I knew I was gonna lose my phone. And both things happened. Did I manifest it? I don't think so. I just was aware. I knew this was gonna happen. And it was good that it happened because it taught me a lot. My life was never the same afterward. And I learned a lot about empowerment. Would I choose that experience again? Probably not. So what would it take for you to be so aware about forks in the road? We can make different choices. Delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to not numb down your awareness? What would it take for you to always be connected to the source? What would it take for you to be always guided by the source? What would it take? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's preventing you from knowing, from being guided. Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to release from your energetic field in your physical body any traces of physical pain from all the times when you were physically hurt? And this could be by parents, grandparents. Delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're holding on to that pain, everywhere you're still nurturing that pain, those grudges, everywhere you were hurt physically by a man, a woman, anybody, an adult, this life, past life. What would it take for you to release from your energetic field the memory of it, the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate? May some of you with karma abuse just create a folder this to put a delete the story, uncreate program for the next 24 hours as long as it's needed, to keep on neutralizing from any part of your body all these memories. What would it take for you to stop holding on to it? What would it take for you to allow change, allow this significant shift to occur in your energetic field? What would it take for you to give up? What would you need to give up? What would you need to let go to allow this energy to move out of your energetic field? Everything that's holding you back, everything that's standing on the way, Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you feel persecuted by man, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're still experiencing, reliving traumatic experiences from all the times you were sexually abused by man, sexually threatened by man, physically threatened by man, pushed around by man, physically hurt by man, tortured by man, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to give up all that pain, suffering, keep only the experience, keep only the lessons, and let everything go? What would it take for you to choose a life, to choose experiences that never include physical pain again or emotional pain again? What would it take? What would it take for you to give up all the tendencies to torture yourself or allow anybody else to torture you? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. There's a lot of that. Cellular memory. What would it take for you to instruct all the cells in your body to release all the low vibrations, all the pain from every cell in your body? What would it take for all your cells to upgrade to the love frequency? What would it take for every single cell in your body to be washed and clean in the unconditional love? What would it take for creative Olatis to shower you with unconditional love? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's not allowing you, delete, destroy, uncreate, detach, resolve, cancel, complete, across all time, dimension, space, and reality. Delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. All those stories. What would it take for you to give up all the shame and guilt from all the times when you abused any woman in the past? As a man or as a woman, it doesn't matter. Women abuse other women just as easily. Delete, destroy, uncreate, delete, destroy, uncreate. What would it take for you to give up all the vows, promises, agreements you have ever made to punish yourself for it, to never forgive yourself for it? What would it take for you to let go of all the vows you have ever made, to allow time after time after time, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, to allow others to do the same to you? What would it take for you to mark it as complete? What would it take for you to mark all the choices you have ever made, to allow suffering and pain to be inflicted on you, to allow all of this to be completed? Mark as complete, lesson learned, finished. What would it take for you to finish this lesson? Everything that's standing on the way, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe you need a little bit more suffering, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe you still haven't paid off your debts, delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to fire all the beings you have hired to punish you, to physically, emotionally, mentally abuse you? What would it take? Threaten you? What would it take for you to give up the need to be threatened by anything or anybody? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it, everywhere you believe you need this danger, this threat to toughen you up, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Where do you believe that you need it in order to survive on this physical plane? Delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe this is your survival training, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to allow yourself to thrive and no longer survive, but thrive in love and light, in loving, generous, kind relationships? What would it take? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. As I say this, I really feel there is a lot of pain in the solar plexus, back solar plexus. So what would it take for you to put a detach, delete, dissolve, uncreate program for the next 24 hours, so as long as it's needed, in your solar plexus, and you release, neutralize, whatever it is that is in your solar plexus, delete the story, uncreate. All the stories, everywhere you believe in the survival of the fittest, everywhere you believe you're still living in a world of eating or being eaten, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe women and men are at war with each other, what would it take for you to be at peace with women and men? What would it take for you to have peace with all the women and all the men? What would it take? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you don't believe that women and men can live at peace, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you cannot be left in peace by men, delete the story, and create. What would it take for you to be left in peace by men? What would it take? You know, when I look at us energetically, I really feel like there's always somebody grabbing at us, somebody needing something from us, somebody not leaving us in peace, constantly being somehow dissatisfied, somebody who constantly needs to poke us. So what would it take for you, for us, to be completely left in peace by the energy of other people? And often it's their entities. When you start cleaning up and your energetic field becomes cleaner, then their entities will start attacking you. I felt very attacked by other people. That's why I kept cleaning them even more. Until last year in April, when I was sick for like a month. And I was up leveling energetically. And since then, I don't feel attacked by people anymore. Even when there are conflicts, I don't feel attacked. I don't feel them really coming full force, their entities and so on, at me. And then I spend 5 days cleaning them up because I feel it and it bothers me and I'm not happy. So I no longer need to do it. What would it take for you to up level energetically to such an extent that you're no longer bothered by other people's energies? And you might also ask, what kind of energy do I have, Rena? What kind of energy, I wonder, what kind of energy Rena has? And what kind of energy, frequency, vibration can I bring into my energetic field to up level energetically also to the same extent? You can ask yourself, I wonder, what kind of energy does she have that she's no longer being bothered by other people's energies? That's the best way. You clean up, and up level energetically to such an extent that you vibrate on a higher plane and they can no longer reach you. So what would it take for you to up level so significantly in every particle of your body, your energetic physical body, that you are out of reach for low vibrational entities, beings, creatures? Everywhere you think it's cheating, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you think it's not allowed, delete the story, uncreate. You are not replicating my energy. You're figuring out what kind of energetic match that is. And you're going to have your own path to get there. It's going to be your version of energies. So delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Everything that's resisting this, delete the story, uncreate. Everything that's standing on the way, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're trying to figure out how to do it, well, you don't need to know how to do it. You can say, what would it take? What would it take for me to up level energetically? And then life is going to take you. You don't need to know how. You need to know right away, I need to do X, Y, Z. Life is going to take you there. Delete the story, uncreate. Delete the story, uncreate. You also don't need to choose to be sick for 1 month like me to up level, because I seldom get sick. And then I was sick for 1 month. Shedding a lot of energy. What would it take for you to up level energetically without any physical symptoms, any diseases, any ailments? Delete the story, uncreate. Times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to up level with ease and grace? What would it take for you to surround yourself with so much light, so much high vibrational energy that you attract people, beings, man, that are high vibrational, spiritual, advanced, that have the qualities that you already have, or have the qualities that you aspire to develop in yourself? Delete the story, uncreate. Delete the story, uncreate. Delete the story, uncreate. Times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everything that's standing on the way, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you don't believe that men like that exist, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe all men are bad, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe all men just want to use you, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you attract men that want to keep you small, what would it take for you to attract men that want to see you grow, want to see you bigger than them, that do everything to uplift you? What would it take? Everywhere you believe that you as a woman must be small next to a man, well, you can be small physically next to a man. It doesn't mean you have to be spiritually, mentally smaller than a man. So delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're shrinking yourself to the size of your physical body, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to outgrow the size of your physical body? That's a new thought. I feel like brain on fire. What would it take for you to outgrow this physical size? When we are born, we try so hard to shrink ourselves to the small, tiny little body. But we are not this small. We are much bigger than this. So what would it take for you to let your light shine? What would it take for you to show up in every situation, always super connected to the source, and show up in every situation, shining bright? What would it take for you to uplift energetically every room that you walk into? What would it take for you to feel worthy of a good man, worthy of a man that loves you? What would it take for you to allow a man to fully love you? Oh, that's another big block. You look for men that are incapable of loving because they only love themselves. They're not developed enough to love you, love others. So what will it take for you to let go of that? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to attract a man that has a lot of love to give? Everything that's standing on the way, everything's preventing that. Delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you believe you must be the one giving love, and he must be the one receiving love. What would it take for you to attract a relationship where both are very eager to give love? What would it take for you to attract a man that would want to shower you with love? What would it take for you to allow the universe to help you to bring such a man into your life? Everything that's standing on the way, everything you're not allowing the universe to help you with your love life, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. That's a big, I feel like, big pain. We would never allow the universe to help us with our love life. Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Personified with karma abuse, just create a folder list to put a detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete program, delete, destroy, and create for the next 7 hours, 24 hours, as long as it's needed. What would it take for us to allow the universe to love us? What would it take for us to allow the universe to bring people into our lives that are loving and caring and want nothing more but shower us with love? Everything that's standing on the way, delete, destroy, and create, delete, destroy, and create, delete, destroy, and create. Everywhere you're covering your authentic self app, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're hiding your authentic self, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're afraid of being unapologetically yourself, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're full of apologies about who you are, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to be completely in harmony, completely happy, excited, joyful to be you? What would it take for you to give yourself permission to be unapologetically happy, joyful, excited about being you? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's preventing you, everything that's blocking you, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to clear your mind of all the societal forms, everywhere you're trying to conform to societal forms about how women must be? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's has programmed you to behave in a certain way, everywhere you're afraid of stepping out of line, everywhere you're afraid of doing things differently, everywhere you're afraid of thinking differently. Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate across all time, dimension, space, and reality, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you allowed societal conditioning to be so important in your life that you're afraid of not complying with it. What would it take for you to decide on your own norms, decide on your own rules for life, your own value systems? Delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to know what they are? I hear like, oh, I don't even know what they are. So what would it take for you to know what your norms, what your rules, what your values are? The way you want to truly live your life. Delete the story, uncreate everything that's standing on the way. Everywhere there's confusion, everywhere there's nothing you're grounding yourself into. Everywhere you're not grounding yourself into your truth, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you, the soul, to ground yourself in your truth? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to allow yourself to be your bright self? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. I hear like, how can I be bright if I'm actually so dark? So what would it take for you to give up the belief that you're actually dark inside, that you're evil, bad, horrible, hateful, spiteful, resentful, whatever it is inside? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. All the stories you have about yourself, all those beliefs you have about yourself and how you are, who you are, why you are the way you are. Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to be always connected to the source? And what would it take for you to know the truth about yourself? And what would it take for you to be absolutely guided by you, the highest soul, toward greater light? What would it take for you to allow that light to shine? What kind of vibration, what kind of frequency, what kind of energy do you need to bring in into your energetic field to shine bright, to feel bright inside, to feel like you're surrounded by light, lightness and light? What would it take for you to expand energetically to such an extent that you are this ball of light and everybody feels happy just by being around you. What would it take for you to, what kind of energy, what kind of beliefs would you need to give up about yourself and others and the world for you to move into this frequency, for you to be large, uplifting, brilliant, amazing? What would it take for your true colors to shine through, to come through? What would it take? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's preventing you, everything that's not allowing this, detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete. Detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete. Detach, resolve, dissolve, cancel, complete. What would it take for you to attract only people that want you to shine bright? What would it take? Everywhere you believe you must attract people that dim your light, delete, distort, uncreate. Everywhere you believe you need this kind of people so that you can shine brighter in their presence, delete, distort, uncreate. Delete, distort, uncreate times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you feel entangled energetically with this kind of people, what would it take for you to completely, fully disentangle yourself from people like that, from any obligations toward these people? What would it take for you to leave these people behind and be okay with it, and be okay with leaving anybody behind? You can invite them energetically to join you, but they would need to do the effort. So delete the story uncreate, delete the story uncreate, delete the story uncreate, delete the story uncreate times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you've been told you are too much, delete the story uncreate. What would it take for you to have all the permissions you need to be too much, even more than much as you want, and be okay with it? What would it take for you to know that creator of all that is wants you to be too much, wants you to be as big as you can possibly become? What would it take for you to know, believe, feel, sense, receive the truth about this? That the bigger you are, the better. You can never be too much. You can never be not enough. What would it take for you to give up all the beliefs that you are too much, you are not enough? Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's preventing you, everything that's holding you back. Delete the story uncreate, delete the story uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. Everywhere you believe it's bad to be too much, delete the story uncreate. Everywhere you feel you believe others are threatened when you're too much, delete the story uncreate. What would it take for you to attract people that enjoy you being too much, that celebrate you for being too much? What would it take for you to give up the idea that you rather would want to not be seen, not be visible, not being heard, not being sensed, not being perceived by others? What would it take for you to be as loud as you want and not to care what other people think? Delete the story uncreate, delete the story uncreate, delete the story uncreate, times gazillion, times gazillion, times gazillion. What would it take for you to access all of you? Because you are just a small portion incarnating in this body. So what would it take for you to access all of you and start bringing all of you down into this incarnation, into this body? What would it take for you to access all your gifts, skills, abilities, wisdom, experiences, guidance, intuition, your beauty? What would it take? Delete the story and create everything that's standing on the way. Delete the story and create. Everywhere you decided you will not allow this, delete the story, uncreate. Everywhere you're afraid to allow this, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to allow Mother Earth to support you in this incarnation? What would it take for you to allow Mother Earth to keep you safe, physically, emotionally, mentally? What would it take? What would it take for you to ask for help, to ask for guidance, allow help, allow guidance? What would it take for you to ask Creator Felicitas to assign guardian angels to protect you from any harms and dangers at all times? Delete the story, uncreate, delete the story, uncreate. What would it take for you to clean up the future? Most of you have my replay about cleaning up the future. If you don't have, drop it in the chat. I will be more than happy to share it with you, the replay. Clean up your future. Run the entity clearing as well. Clean up your future. Remove all the interferences with your well-being. Delete the story and create. How could you create good karma to be protected from any harms and dangers? When I was assaulted, I had this intuitive thought a few hours later that the only thing that can protect me is my good karma. So what would it take for you to start generating so much good karma and decreeing that good karma to be safe and protected at all times? And what would it take for you to feel gratitude every single day that you are safe? Right now, you are safe, you are good. Nobody's harming you physically, emotionally, mentally. What would it take for you to communicate to the entire universe that you're no longer available for being threatened in any way, being assaulted in any way, being endangered in any way by anybody? What would it take for you to only attract people that can keep themselves safe and keep you safe too? What would it take? You know, we sometimes meet people that are so reckless with how they go about their lives. They drive recklessly, they're reckless with their money, they're just reckless with, and they don't pay attention. So what would it take for you to attract people that are aware, that want to keep you safe? It's very interesting. Whenever I'm in Mexico, if I'm out with some guy, you know, they would never leave me somewhere. They would always make sure I get home and I'm safe. And the same I experience here in Greece. Apparently the area I'm staying is not that safe. So I've been meeting people and they would drop me off at the door and they would wait until I get in. It's kind of nice. In Europe, you usually don't get this because it's quite safe, right? So, and there is not really the culture of like really taking you home and really waiting until you get into the door and really making sure you got to the apartment. But in many countries it is, and I really appreciate it. So what would it take for you to allow men to take care of you? What would it take for you to allow men to keep you safe? What would it take for you to allow men to dot on you, to treasure you? What would it take? Everywhere you would not allow this, everywhere you gotta be the man in your relationship. Everywhere you gotta prove to the man now that you're strong enough and you don't need them. Delete the story and create, delete the story and create, delete the story and create. I don't know why, but I feel as I said this, what I just said, your body's relaxed a little bit more. So what would it take for you to allow the man to keep you safe? What would it take for you to attract men that could not imagine doing anything less than keeping you safe? Caring about you, wondering if you're good, if you're in a good place, if everything is okay. But not kind of like in a stalker type of way, but not just in a caring way because they're good guys. What would it take for you to attract such good guys that are very caring, gentle, loving with you? And what would it take for you to allow them to do that for you, with you? What would it take for you to believe that you deserve this? You can say, the universe I deserve this. I want it now. This is the kind of treatment I want to be receiving from man now. Everything that's standing on the way, everything that's preventing it, delete, distort, uncreate. Put your awareness at the center of Mother Earth. Ground yourself, 5 feet down, 5 feet out. Whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes and be fully awake and alert. For those of you who would like to join next week's session, it's going to be daughters at war with their mothers. I'm sure we're going to clear so much there. This is kind of like a continuation to the session I had 2 weeks ago. So you might want to have a look at the video on YouTube. It's available. And so there is a lot that we stirred up that day, and it's going to be a continuation. So everywhere there is this tug of war, everywhere we're trying to just defend ourselves, our right to be ourselves and not being a mini versions, mini copies of our mothers. That's what we're going to be doing. Okay. And those of you who would like to join tomorrow's session, it's going to be all about fear of aging and being too old to achieve success. Everywhere you are counting numbers, how old you are. So the session is not going to be at 11 a.m. ET, it's going to be at 1. So it's going to be 2 hours later because I will be away tomorrow. So I just didn't have time to change it, but I'll send an email with an updated time. But yeah, if this is something that has been coming up in your life, you feel like time is running out and you're too old and you might not have the time. And anyways, you're already exhausted. And if you didn't achieve the success you wanted when you were in your 20s, then it's too late anyways. So everywhere you believe that, that's what we're going to be working through. And the money topic on Thursday is going to be, the Thursday time is this, okay, it's going to be at 11 a.m. So it's going to be ancestral trauma, victims of money and property loss. So this is going to be diving into our family tree and looking at all the ways our families lost money in the past. Like my family used to be very, very wealthy. They lost a lot, everything, basically. First World War, Second World War, lost everything, all the properties, everything they had. So everywhere we are traumatized, our family tree is traumatized by that. Everywhere we're afraid of losing again, because if our family lost in the past, they might found it so traumatic that they decided just to not accumulate wealth anymore. So everywhere we have that in the family tree, that's what we're going to be cleaning up. Okay, so thank you so much for being here, everybody. I hope this was a good session, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye.